Jacinta Price is a rock star. She was so at CPAC this weekend in Queensland. She joins us now and I believe is in beautiful Darwin, of course, the Senator from the Northern Territory. Nice to see you, Jacinta. How was CPAC? I watched your speech in full and crikey, you're good at it. You are very good at it.
Yeah, cheers, Paul. Look, it was great. It was wonderful to be with over 1,000 people that we know are like-minded, common sense individuals who all want what's best for Australia, all want to just be proud Australians. It was great to be able to come together for the conference, for CPAC, so that we can understand that, you know, when we're not alone, we have got each other and there is hope for our future if we continue to fight for what is best for our country ultimately.
Now, I saw some of the reporting in and around particularly your focus on a message to the next generation, all right? Now, anyone who had actually seen the speech, heard the speech, understands that you're trying to offer inspiration to younger people to say, hey, you know, you're part of the solution, not the problem. Don't worry about victimhood. Work on yourself, push yourself forward. Give us an idea about what you mean about a younger person or the next generation working on themselves. What is an example of the sort of stuff that puts them in the right place?
Yeah, look, and I think, you know, and I think at the beginning of the outset of my speech, I paid tribute to Charlie Kirk, who was a wonderful example of a young person who, first and foremost, puts his family first, puts his faith first, puts his family first, but ultimately believes in the ability for an individual to stand on your own 2 feet, because ultimately responsibility is freedom. Is freedom when you can take your hands in your life and determine your future for yourself, well, then that is ultimate freedom. And I think for our young people, they've been told to be ashamed to call themselves Australian, but it begins with a sense of pride in who you are and the country you belong to. But also, you know, education is so important. And a lot of young people, I feel, are frustrated. I speak to a lot of uni students who are frustrated at their woke lecturers and the sort of ideology that's being shoved down their throat. And ultimately, it's time for them to challenge the education system in those spaces, because it's about learning how to think, not what to think, I suppose, as Charlie Kirk would put it.
Yeah, I often, and again, forgive me for wondering out loud, one of the great sins of public discourse, but I'm somehow going to bring it back, which is that I always sort of think about that quite often people like you and I will get involved in conversations with very well-meaning people who understandably are very frustrated with either the way things are going or where the things have already gone. And I'm starting to get to the point now where I'm saying, look, I know what the problem is, but do your bit to build a life raft, right? You're not going to be able to get 27 million people in there, but if you can get your household in there, and then maybe you can get a couple of mates in there, and maybe you can get your neighbour in there, then slowly but surely a whole bunch of life rafts start to get us into a different direction. How far off the mark is that logic where, again, it's not just about yourself, it's about the people under your roof or the people in your circle?
Totally. I think it's so important. And that's the thing. If you know yourself, if you know your own flaws and you're prepared to look at yourself and work on yourself, and when you have been able to do that, you can become so much more better when you contribute to your community, to your family, to those that you love, and more broadly to your family as well. And I think there is so much sort of emphasis from left ideologues about the victim mentality and being inward looking, and the world has to change to suit who we think we are. But ultimately, for a lot of young people, that's not working for them, evidently. And I feel like there's a real pushback right now. There's a shift occurring, and young people are realising, no, we have to be honest, we have to be true, we have to deal with facts, we have to deal with evidence, as opposed to ideology, and that is what brings about a better society. It's what Western societies are built on ultimately, and I think there's a real pushback now against woke ideology and the way that victimhood mentality has been ultimately oppressing people. Like, let's use the words of the left, which is what is true. It's oppressive, and it has been oppressive, and I think many Australians, including young Australians, are sick to death of it. They're over it, they want to change, And I think that change is happening right now.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah, sister. Thank you for saying it. We really appreciate you being a leading voice in this. Before I let you go, I want to talk about the Australian Prime Minister in the UN. Like-minded countries, as they say, are all going to recognise Palestine. It won't matter because it's up to the Security Council. US will veto it, meaning, thanks for the chat, nothing's happening. What I love here is the Prime Minister constantly saying, well, we set our own policy, we do it all out on our own. Well, if that's the case, why didn't we do it last year? Oh, no, we had to wait for the cool kids to all join us as well. What does that tell you about what is really playing out this week?
Oh, well, look, I mean, our Prime Minister is weak. Like, he likes to think that he's part of some kind of gang. But when the gang of terrorists and a death cult are praising you for a second time, evidently you're doing something wrong. And his leadership, there are Australians that are beside themselves because he's gone and made this decision on behalf of all Australians. And rightly so. I mean, it is disgusting to think that they voted for supporting terrorism, ultimately. These terrorists now think that they have the right to continue acting out as they have been, terrorising people. I mean, the three poor Gazans who were executed on the same day that our Prime Minister, along with the UK and Canada, recognised Palestine, is just, where are these global leaders? Where are their heads at? That they can turn a blind eye to terrorism, and ultimately what they're saying is we're accepting of this kind of conduct, this kind of behaviour, and that makes our lives dangerous also back in our own countries, because it signals to those who would wish to cause us harm, the same way Hamas has caused harm to the Israelis and to the Gazans, and as we've just witnessed, 3 innocent Gazans today, then that is putting us in a very dangerous, precarious position, and our leadership looks weak. Well, it doesn't look weak, it is weak. I mean, especially coming off the back of not being able to sign a defence treaty with PNG. It is weak and it's disastrous and it's disgusting.
Senator, we love you. Thank you for making so much time as you do for us. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Follow her on socials. Get the message. Thank you, Jacinta. We love you. Say good day to Pima.